We're starting another chapter now in our AutoCAD Essential Training, and we're going to be looking at attributes within AutoCAD blocks and also AutoCAD tables and how you can add information and annotation to them. And we've got a new drawing to start you off with, which is attributes.dwg. As usual, you can download that from the website to follow along with the videos in the chapter. Now, we're going to be looking at creating a simple block with attributes. You'll notice there's some lines and a circle on the screen. We're going to be utilizing those to create a little setting out point block on a survey drawing. Now, you'll notice in the drawing we have the layer 0 and also the SOP metric layer, our setting out point metric layer. We'll use that later when we bring the block into the AutoCAD drawing. In the meantime, make sure that your current drafting layer is set to 0 and select everything that's in the drawing, and just make sure on the pull down that you select layer 0. Make sure that everything on the drawing is on layer 0. So we'll just hit escape there now to deselect everything. What we're going to do is we're going to add a couple of attributes into this drawing, and then we're going to make everything into our setting out point block. So we're going to go to the Insert tab on the ribbon here, and we're going to use the Define Attributes command, which is on the Block Definition panel. Now, when you click on Define Attributes, it brings up the Attribute Definition dialog box. And I'm going to move this over to the left a bit because we're going to be placing the attributes over here on the ends of these lines. Now, some of these lines are sacrificial, and we'll delete the ones that we don't need in a moment. First things first, though, we need to create an attribute definition for our setting out point number. Now, you've got different modes of attribute. The only one you need to worry about is lock position at the moment. Insertion point ticket, we'll specify it on the screen using our object snaps. Make sure your object snaps are on. And the tag name is going to be SOP_NO, like that. You are not allowed spaces in tag names, just be aware of that. And the prompt will be setting out point dash and then number. So that will be the number for the setting out point. And the default might be something like SOP-111. That's just a default value that you can change at any time. Now, the text settings, we're going to make sure that our text settings work. So we want our SOP number up here. So we need bottom right on the end of that line. So our justification will be bottom right. Text style, just stick with the standard text style that's in the drawing, and the text height itself, we're going to make that 200 millimeters high because it's all metric millimeters when we're creating this block in this drawing. Rotation will be 0, which is horizontal. Click on OK, and there's your SOP number attribute. Now you'll notice that the start point is over on the left-hand side. Don't worry about that. As soon as you snap to the end of the top horizontal line there, can you see the right-hand end? It automatically justifies it for you. So we've already placed our SOP number, so we can remove that sacrificial line there and delete it. And you can see it just takes it above that horizontal line there. We're going to go back now to Define Attributes. And this time we're going to create an invisible attribute that will be applied to the block, but it won't show on the screen when the block comes into the drawing. And this will be our SOP type. So again, we'll just do an underscore there, SOP type like that. Prompt will be SOP-type, like so. And then we'll have something like SOP-, and this time it's a circle. You might use a square, you might use a rectangle, but as you can see, we're using a circle in this case. Insertion point, we will specify it on the screen. We will not align it below the previous attribute though, because we're going to snap to the end of the lower line this time. So justification this time will be top right. And the height will be 200, text style standard, rotation 0 like previously. Click on OK. Again, it's on the left-hand side. Don't worry about that. And we're going to snap to the lower line on the end point there, and it places it nice and neatly underneath. Justification kicks in after you've placed the attribute. So I'll select that line there, delete that one. You can now see that our attributes sit nicely 50 millimeters above and below the line that goes through the center of the circle that forms the setting out point. So we've got everything ready to go now to create our block. So we can go back to the Home tab now on the ribbon, and now we can change our layer. So our current drafting layer now will become the SOP metric layer. And we can now create our block, and if we make sure that everything's on layer 0, it'll adopt the current drafting layer. So I'm going to go to the block panel on the Home tab on the ribbon here, and then I'm going to come up here and create block. So the name of the block will be SOP, and we'll possibly put underscore and circle, let's say. So it's an SOP circle this time. Pick point, I'll use, let's say, the intersection of the two lines there, the center of the circle. As you can see, no way you can calculate those X and Y values in a hurry. And we'll select the objects, and you select everything, including your attributes, and then press Enter or right-click. There's the little preview, like so, and there's 5 objects selected. Make sure you scale uniformly and allow exploding, and make sure you've got it set to Convert to Block. Untick Open in Block Editor if it is ticked. You don't want to open it in the block editor. Now, when I click on OK, because I've got Convert to Block selected, it will become a block straight away, but it'll also prompt me now for the attributes that go in the block itself. So there's the SOP type, which is the invisible attribute, and there's the SOP number, which is SOP 111. Let's change that to 999. Click on OK, and the attributes update. But you'll notice the invisible attribute doesn't appear when you bring the block into the AutoCAD drawing.